because most of the youth in our program are first generation youth and who can really relate to your experiences and who got a chance to read parts of your book. And so, a couple of them have got a chance to read all of the book. So thank you for that. I would like to tell you a little bit about the program. Most of you are in the program, so already are familiar with it. The program is called Silent Echoes. It's a name that the youth chose for themselves. It's a creative writing program, and it runs 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. It's done in partnership with Maggie Daly's program, After School Matters, and we are able to hire each session up to 30 youth. Many of the youth are here today with us, and many of them will share some of their work, although some of them, because it's a school, they have work and homework and finals and that sort of thing, so not all of them could join us. The youth are between the ages of 13 and 20 years old currently in our program. They write about a number of different topics, including many of the things that you discussed. And we encourage them to write about their life experiences. We like to challenge them in terms of their political awareness, their social justice background and understanding. And so we do that through discussion, we do that through watching films and then discussing what we've seen. We do that through different field trips. Many of our youth have had chances to attend youth summits around the city, youth forums, conferences. Some of our youth have been with us since the program started, which was 3 years ago. And so it's been a very successful program. We have a waiting list for the program. So that's just kind of a little bit of the background of the program. So with that, we have about 8 or 9 youth that are going to come up and perform some of their work for you. I would like to say that for some of them, this is their first time performing outside of their comfort zone. And by that, I mean they're not used to performing, A, in a library, B, for an audience that's not their peers, and C, an audience that is a bit more diverse than we're used to, maybe. I'm not sure about that myself. I also want to recognize my co-instructor, Khalid Ahmad, who is the gentleman in the back. Khalid is the hip-hop head of the program. It's not my area. Our youth write different genres. Some of the youth prefer rap, that's Khalid's area. And some of the youth prefer more poetry and even spoken word. Now, a little bit about spoken word, which is I consider an urban art. And it is a type of poetry that doesn't really follow the rules of poetry so much. And it's really a way for youth and others to express themselves. And whether they use poetic elements, we strongly encourage them to, or not, it's a message that is spoken. And that's what makes it a little different than poetry, which is sometimes not meant to be performed on stage, but definitely spoken word is. And our youth choose to write in that form, and they also write, they've begun to write in skit form, so it's poetry in skit style. So a group of 4 or 5 will come together and write poetry, but that's really a skit and perform it for you. I don't think any of them are doing that tonight, but if we get invited again, maybe we will. So with that, I'm going to introduce our first youth, and then from there, each of the youth will introduce him or herself, and that first youth is Keith Stiggers, who's going to do a piece. And also a little bit, very, very quickly actually, I'm sorry, I almost forgot to mention this. Our youth were inspired by your work, and so they wrote pieces about being X in America. Our youth are very diverse. It's a reflection of the community that we're in on 63rd and Kedzie. We are Arab, we are Latino, we are African American, and so our program is quite diverse. And so they got a chance to write. Obviously, if they're not Arab youth, it's a bit difficult to write about Arab in America. So the topic was X in America, and they can choose to fill in the blank with whatever. Some chose Arab, some chose African American, some chose Latino, some chose youth in America, some chose female in America. And so we'll get to hear from them in a little bit. So keep coming up, and then afterwards.
I don't need a mic, do I? God, Louis, move! Louis, move!
Everybody out there,
move!
my name is Keith Stiggers, as you guys might or might not already know. I'm a student at the AAAM. I go to Bogan High School, and this is my piece. It's entitled Ignorance. Okay. It's also in a rap poetic type of style, so just bear with me. Yo, I'm ignorant in America. Anything new, I'm scared of ya. My mind is infantile, I'm not prepared for ya. TV is king, we look and stare at ya. Caricatures of who we supposed to be. Our heads pumped with Jay and Weezy, told to get it easy, living life sleazy. Just a crazy individual. Ignorance is what we get paid for our residuals, lied to by the media that's ultimately feeding you. We live in a world of hypocrisies. My hypotheses need to stop and breathe. I'm writing ancient style like my name was Sophocles. I'm on my knees asking God, please stop the siege of our democracy. And we live in goalless, our hearts the coldest, but for now, we sit and wait, and we contemplate. But all the stuff that we see, we reciprocate. But we will never get out the cycle. My flow is bad. You could call me Michael. Billie Jean was a crack fiend. I still can't believe all the stuff that I'm seeing. 300 years later, and we still being ruled by the Europeans. I refuse to grow up and be anything, to have aspirations, to have any dreams. I live in a world where 50 Cent is president and BET is king. But they say ignorance is bliss, and that's the main reason why I act like this. Let's wear our pants baggy and drink a lot of Chris style, cause I know you like mine. Skip college cause I'm on my grind. Got 3 babies coming all at one time. I guess you could call me complacent, and I'm next to the jail. You could call me adjacent, or maybe parallel. I'm living in this hell every first of the month. I'm feeding for the mail. But in my remembrance, don't remember me, just remember my ignorance.
Hola, chicas.
Okay, is that good? I'm sorry, I'm short. Yeah, I'm about 5'1", but how's everybody doing?
Good.
Alright, let me get serious. My piece is called Puerto Ricans in America. Puerto Ricans in America are stereotyped as minorities until you really get to hear their stories. Banging and slanging is not a choice but a job. A family business that has to go on. People say that this Boricua has attitude ingrained in me. I really stand up for solidarity. When people get to know me, they forget about my ethnicity. It only takes one time, and you'll always want to chill with me. Even with all the carajo, puñeta, mamaos, Puerto Ricanism speaks for itself, and very loud. I'm proud to be una puertorriqueña, boricua de Manatí, es real for you guys to see. The island was made for you and me. From the palm tree to the coquí. This place is beautiful. You will never want to leave. No discrimination. I agree. I guarantee. I'm not afraid to scream and yell. Tengo sangre de blanca, tengo sangre africana, y tengo sangre española. Soy taína de Puerto Rico. Por eso, mi espiritual es rico.
Caliente, coquí.
Okay, in Spanish, all I said was the background of
Yeah.
how I am, because people don't really know that Puerto Ricans actually have a lot inside of them. It's a very big, the history goes back in time. But what I said was that I have blood of Caucasian, of African American, and the main one's Spaniard. Thank you.